2024 brought in a lot of AI systems, softwares, processes. But it's 2025, and a lot of online coaching businesses have been left devastated. I'm talking about seven-figure businesses now making low six figures. People who you were $500,000 businesses are barely making $100,000. And what is the reason?
You made it. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to my channel. I'm Alicia, an entrepreneur and a woman of God. I created this channel because I have a deep passion for entrepreneurship and business. But even more so, I love talking about God and how He has intertwined my journey as an entrepreneur with discovering Him, discovering myself, and healing from all the conditioning and challenges the world has thrown my way. This channel is a space where we can discuss God, success, failure, trials, disappointments, and the incredible journey of evolution along the way. So grab some tea, brew a cup of coffee, turn me on in the background while you're working, and let's get it. And if you don't mind, I would love to walk alongside you on this journey of being an obedient woman of God who has been called to entrepreneurship. Again, welcome to my channel.
The reason might surprise you, and as someone who's been an online marketer for the last 10 years that has built her business on referral base, which means that I work behind the scenes on $500,000 businesses to seven-figure businesses, and I was their marketing person, their content creator, their funnel builder, their strategist, all the things. And what I realized is heading towards the end of 2024, we started to see a decline across all of my clients. I started to see a decline in the efforts that they were doing. Their launches weren't launching the way they used to. Their live streams weren't producing as much engagement and interaction like it used to. Getting people to sign up for their lead magnets was feeling like impossible. We were doing a lot of song and dance, and it just felt like people weren't interested in what they had to offer and share anymore. And it's not because they didn't know what they were talking about. It wasn't like they couldn't help them because they had been helping people for years. So what happened? And I'm going to be very honest. I have a sense of a discernment when it comes to industries and operations. And I love looking at why things go wrong. I love looking for the bottlenecks. And the thing that I started to pick up on in our industry is after COVID, we're now 5 years since COVID. After COVID, everything started to regulate around 2023. So the market started to normalize. When COVID happened, you had an influx of people who ran to the internet to make money. And so anybody that was selling anything, they bought it. They were hungry. They wanted to learn. They wanted to master it, and they wanted to get it gone, right? And so if you were just available, they bought. But that was technically a disruptor in the marketplace, which means the rules got pushed aside because the market was hungry. And so a lot of coaches, a lot of businesses made a lot of money between 2020, 2021, and 2022. And when things like this happen, if you don't recognize that this is not normal, when you are looking at a shortcut, not understanding that this shortcut is not going to be here forever. When you start to believe that this is the norm, you are doing your businesses a disservice. And so when the marketplace started to level out, meaning those who made their money, those who get rich quick, they left and they devastated the market. So now people who entered the market, some of them got burned. People were selling subpar products and services. They didn't deliver. So they dramatically changed the way people viewed online businesses, online coaching and services. And so now people are in this industry kind of skeptical. But what also happened is you had people who entered the market that never learned the rules. They never learned online business basics one-on-one, where you have to know how to build an audience. You have to know how to generate traffic. You have to know how to generate leads. You have to know how to give value, produce products, and be basically a human person, right? And position yourself as an expert and with the authority, because you do know what you're doing and you do know what you're talking about, right? And so I kind of identified three shortcuts that kind of disrupted and left a lot of businesses tattered. And like I said, the first one was COVID, but the second one was live streaming. Okay. So I don't know if y'all remember Periscope, but back in my day, I can't believe I'm at this point where I'm saying this, but back in my day when we had Periscope, that's when live streaming became something that was a phenomenon. And you had people who would be on Periscope all day. And this is when we really started to come across like live streamers, right? Now, even though live streaming at that time was not new because Asian countries had been doing live streaming before we were. But when it hit America, this was revolutionary. And if you had an online business, this was a great way for you to build an audience to be found while nurturing people who chose to follow you. And then you could also sell because it was the platform. So as long as you had a link, as long as you were getting those hearts, as long as you were building an audience, then people were willing to buy for you because they're like, oh my gosh, like they already have all these people. They have 1,000,000 hearts. Like that was the measure, right? And it was easy to make money. But then Facebook started to offer live streaming. And so I throw myself under the bus. I wish I had stayed on Periscope a bit longer, but when Facebook started doing live streaming, I moved to Facebook, not realizing that I was cutting my legs off. So I had to rebuild an audience on a platform that wasn't like Periscope. It wasn't easy to be found. It was more nurturing. And I didn't understand that then, but I definitely understand it now. But live streaming became a disruptor. It became a shortcut for a lot of businesses because now those platforms who already had a huge following, a huge audience, they were using it to nurture their people and close that know, like, and trust factor faster because they weren't just showing up teaching all the time. They were getting personal. They were showing you their house. They're walking around because live streaming offered something that YouTube couldn't at that time. And that was relatability. It was close in hand. I didn't have to show up, super polished. I didn't have to have the great background and the great lighting. When you were live streaming, people did not expect you to show up super glam. They expected you to show up with the knowledge and the facts and the realness and to be a real human being. Okay. And so this was a way for you to get personal with your followers. And that's why it was such a shortcut. And people would make hundreds of thousands of dollars via live streaming. But when more people started to do live streaming, when people started becoming live stream coaches, when people started to build businesses on how to teach people on how to live stream and how to sell on live stream, more people entered using that tool. So now it's no longer a shortcut. Now it's become the rule. And anything that becomes the rule, it's slower. The results slow down. They're steady, but they slow down. So when it came to live streaming, again, if you built your business and you became used to just live streaming to make your money, that when you showed up on a live stream, you would have 100 people in the room. And now fast forward, with 2025, and you're barely getting 2 or 3 people in the room when you're live, or you have to go live for 60 minutes to 90 minutes to almost 2 hours just to get people in the room. That means it's becoming harder. You're going to have to do more. It's no longer a shortcut. And because it's no longer working for you anymore, now it's slowing down business. You have to work twice as hard to make the money, which means you have to live stream longer and more frequently just to maintain what you built, which means scaling is going to be even harder. So what was the third shortcut? The third shortcut, we already mentioned COVID. We already mentioned live streaming. The next one is AI. ChatGPT hit the ground and everybody was like, what? I don't need a copywriter anymore. I don't need a marketing person anymore. I don't need a strategist. I don't need, all of these things because now this AI tool is going to do everything that I need. Right. And For the most part, if you already knew copywriting 101, if you already knew how to write your own emails, if you already knew how to build your own funnels, if you already knew those things, then yes, it was a game changer for you. But for the people who didn't already know those things, it devastated their business. And other AI tools started to become available. So now you can make videos and be faceless. Now you can use AI voice where you didn't need to anymore. So a lot of AI became available to the public. And again, it is a disruptor. And so when people came into the marketplace and they were trying to be a coach and AI was readily available, you thought that the shortcuts were the rules. So even when it came to AI, if you never wrote your own emails, if you've never written your own scripts, if you've never written your own copy, if you've never written your own nurture content, then you came in believing that ChatGPT was the end all be all, and you can't understand why it's not working, why people are not signing up to why they're not interacting with your content, why they're not interacting with your live streams, why they're not doing your polls, doing your things. Like, you're telling ChatGPT to give you a 30-day content calendar and you're following that content calendar, but you're still getting nothing, right? Because you never learned the rules. So people like me who've been in the game for 10 plus years in the online coaching industry, we were taught the rules. We were taught you had to build an audience. You had to be good at branding yourself, not just aesthetically, but being known for something, being known for the one thing. We were taught how to build a community. We were taught how to nurture. We were taught how to host webinars. We were taught how to effectively live stream, how to effectively do videos, because before live streaming, we were already doing pre-recorded videos. We were doing our 3-part training series. We were doing those types of videos. We were doing BSLs, video sales letters. We were already doing that. We were taught how to do that. We were taught how to host discovery calls. We were taught how to have conversations in the DMs. We were taught these things because they were necessary for business. We were taught how to identify leads. We were taught how to sort leads. We were taught how to do outreach. We were taught these things. And so anybody that came in post-COVID, you never learned the rules. Now, for my people, my veterans, my people who are 10 plus years, here's something that you may not want to hear. The market is resetting. Now that all of these shortcuts have regulated, now you're going to have to go back to what you already know how to do. You may not want to do it. You may not want to do it, but praise the Lord, you know how. You know how to build an audience. You know how to get new eyeballs on you. You know how to generate leads. You know how to list build. You know how to community build. You know how to outreach. You know how to sell. You know how to get people on your calls. You know how to do that. But I get it. Shortcuts are shortcuts. It expedites the sale. But when the market goes back to normal, you have to go back to what you know how to do. And that is the advantage that you're going to have over people who are entering the market post-COVID. You are going to be able to do everything faster because you're also bringing your 10-year plus experience in this game with you. So it might seem daunting. It might seem heavy. It might seem, oh gosh, I'm starting over. Even if you are starting over, you're not starting over empty-handed. Again, you are bringing 10 years worth of experience. You know more than the average person. So while it may have taken you 3 years in the past to build 1,000 people on an email list, guess what? You're going to do it faster because you know all the shortcuts and you know the rules, and you can know how to merge them together. You're going to do it faster, you're going to do it better, and you're not going to feel like you are not the expert because you are. So I want to show you something that I think is going to help you just in case you are a little lost and you've kind of forgotten the art and the science of generating leads, I have built a brand new AI GPT bot agent just for you. People who need to remember how to do this. People who need fresh ideas, people who need fresh vision on how to generate traffic, how to get new traffic, how to generate leads. This bot, Feed My Funnel, is going to be your best friend. Now, remember what I said, this is never going to replace the work, but it is going to help you get out of that mindset of this is what I used to do and this is all I know how to do. Sometimes you need new energy. You need new ideas. You need a new way of looking at things that you used to do so that you get that spark, that energy, that joy, that excitement, that ambition. You need that spark again. Okay? So you're not stuck in back in my day. Baby, let me tell you, don't live like a high school quarterback where your glory days was only in high school and now you're 40 still talking about your glory days in high school. There are glory days in front of you. And I'm here to tell you that you're not dead. It's not gone. You can do it and you can do it again. If somebody was to take your whole list from you and snatch your whole audience from you, I guarantee you can rebuild it again because you did it before. So click the link in my chat if you want to play with it. It is absolutely free. Click the link. The Feed My Funnel bot is available to you to get a customized traffic plan on whatever it is that you're offering or promoting, whether it's your lead magnet, whether it's your events, whether it is your actual offer programs, masterminds, masterclasses, memberships, whatever it is. It is going to help you to curate a customized traffic plan. Click the link, try it out, and I will see you next time.